So I review a lot of anime music on this channel. Specifically, I have a series where I watch anime openings and I rate them. You could say that I've made quite a few people upset by doing this. I have my own taste, what can I say? But the question people often ask me is, well, what is that taste? What are the openings that I like? And the funny thing is, I didn't really know up until I sat down to think about it for this video. Truth be told, I don't actually care that much about anime openings, despite me being a big music nerd and, also making music is my job. Usually if I'm sitting down to watch anime, I just want to get to the anime, and I end up skipping all the openings and the endings. I know, criminal, sue me. But since I'm often so critical of them, people are always like, okay then, Mr. Music Expert, what are your favorite openings then? I bet everything you like is a bunch of trash, just like you and your stupid channel and your stupid hair and your stupid Rode microphone and pop filter. But like I say over and over, that's fine if you think that. It's called, having an opinion. So here's my opinion, aka my 10 favorite anime openings in no particular order that were hastily chosen just for this video. And just like I said when I listed out my top 50 anime, I've seen a lot of anime, like hundreds and hundreds of anime, so that means I've seen hundreds and hundreds of openings. So this list is literally just the first ones that came to mind, and may not actually reflect what I think is good, but rather what I can remember. Number 10 is Aoi Shiori by Galileo Galilei from the show Anohana. Now if you've seen Anohana, all I need to do is play the first few seconds and it'll probably induce a wave of crippling depression. So the reason I like this one so much is because it captures the feeling of melancholy and nostalgia that makes the show what it is. Anohana at its core is a show that says, remember how great life used to be? Because it sure as fuck isn't great now, you pathetic loser. And what better way to capture that feeling than a nice soft rock ballad? Obviously there isn't anything musically groundbreaking about this song, it's like 3 chords throughout the whole thing, but it's the delivery of the vocalist and the atmosphere that the instrumentation creates that really makes this song. Anohana is one of those life-changing anime for me, and we as humans tend to associate periods of change in our lives with the music we were listening to at the time. It's why people have that saying of whatever you like at age 14 is probably what you're gonna like for the rest of your life. It's why everyone is always like, oh, music was so much better when I was a kid, not like today with all those Lil Nas's and Jack Harlow's. It's not that music got worse, it's just that you remember the music you enjoyed during your biggest periods of change, aka those tumultuous puberty teenage years. Now, I was not a teenager when Anohana came out. I was in my 50s, but it was still a period of change in my life, so that's why I can relate to that feeling. Number 9 is one I'm sure you could have expected if you watched this channel. It's A Cruel Angel Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, Evangelion doesn't need an introduction. If you haven't seen it, go watch this video where I convince you to watch it, and then go watch this other video where I read erotic JoJo fanfiction. Joseph cracked a grin. I thought you'd never ask. Dio made a winking gesture and kissed him again. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, I just think it's a funny video. I feel like when I tell people that this is one of my favorite openings and how it's so good, they always look at me like, alright bro, take off your nostalgia glasses, it's overrated. Evangelion, man, you gotta watch some new shit like Boruto. And you know what, to those people I'd say, A, I do watch Boruto, it's okay, and B, Evangelion as a whole has actually aged pretty well. Due to the way Evangelion was made, it feels more like a Western style film than it does an anime, which keeps it from feeling too crazy dated, and the opening itself is the same way. Fast-paced visuals that flash in and out, giving that weird surreal feel that the show has, and of course the song itself is just catchy, especially when Kanye West performs it. I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. I mean, yeah, the opening is just iconic at this point. So many references and parodies just because of how instantly recognizable and uniquely composed it is. Fun fact, if you go to Hakone in Japan, which is the real life location that Tokyo 3 was based on, you can hear A Cruel Angel's Thesis play on the highway if you drive a certain speed over the speed limit or something. Are any of you gonna go try that? Probably not, but at least now you know. Number 8 is Paradisus Paradoxum by Mythenroid from ReZero. You know what makes music such a fine medium of art? It's it's the idea that sound is all around us every day. From me clapping to me crumpling this water bottle, everything produces sound waves, and the instruments you hear in music, all the way from a simple triangle to a $5,000 guitar, is all the same shit, just vibrations in the air. So if you vibrate the air a certain way, you can get anything from a chainsaw ripping to DJ Khaled's producer tag. We the best music. Some may argue that there's not that big of a difference between the two. So even though we have certain genres of music where certain sounds apply to different genres, there's really a whole world of sound out there for musicians to use to create music, and that's really just the beautiful thing to me. Which is why I always say I'm not a big fan of using genres, because I think that it's whack to try and constrain music into these stylistic boxes, because then you can look at something like this ReZero opening and you realize, damn, sound is crazy. I mean, officially the genre for Paradisus Paradoxum is J-pop, but that's like so vague, right? Technically the Peggies are J-pop too, and their songs definitely sound hella different from this song. I guess you could also say it's like a Vocaloid song, since it has that effect and it's very prominently featured. Then it's also an electronic song, I guess, and it's also a hard rock song, and it's like, it's insane trying to put it all together. There's really just so much sound. Everything from the orchestra to the glitch effects, it's like a buffet of audio, and combined with how cinematic the songwriting is, that's really why I like it so much. Number 7 is one that completely contrasts number 8 because it's relatively simplistic sonically. It's Hit in the USA by Beat Crusaders from the show Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. You know, I guess I've been having a lot of 2000s nostalgia lately, because I watched this opening and I can only think of just how perfect a time capsule it is to an era that at this point seems so far away, even though in the grand scheme of things, I guess 2005 wasn't really that long ago. There really is something timeless and universal about just a bunch of dudes getting together with a guitar, bass, and drums and just rocking out, and that's the energy that Beat Crusaders have on this song. These days people say rock is dead, and that's absolutely not true, because believe it or not, there's more people out there than just Machine Gun Kelly making great rock music if you just know where to look. But I will say that this kind of rock is dead, and by that I don't mean the musical style, because of course, you know, it's not like people don't make garage rock anymore, but it's more the idea of kids having a dream to make it big and running around with guitars on their back and like that kind of romanticized idea. That kind of thing doesn't really happen anymore when you can just upload terrible videos on the internet like I do and just have random people in every country watching it as easy as that. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Well, that's great, Damian. You could say this opening is good all you want because your old ass is still stuck in 2005. But all that means nothing for me because I was born in 2019. This is another great thing I'll tell y'all about music and art in general. If something is actually good, it's usually timeless. There's a reason why you go to film school and they still make you watch like Casablanca or Citizen Kane, because art has the ability to evoke emotion even if you're far removed from its context, whether it be time period, culture, language, whatever. If the idea of an anime made in the early 2000s about a bunch of Japanese kids making a rock band means nothing to you because you're from Illinois and only listen to trap, that's okay, because something like Beck goes beyond all of that. And I guess just go listen to the opening yourself because I'm talking way too much. I need to move on. Fuck. Number 6 is from a series that has deep personal meaning to me. I think it's masterful, poignant, and groundbreaking. It's a series that I think should be taught in schools and immortalized up there with the great works of art like the Iliad or the Mona Lisa even. That series is To Love Ru, and the opening is Forever We Can Make It. Now, I know I always go on about music this and music that, but this is one of the few cases where the song is mid as fuck and the rest of the opening makes up for it. I can't really play any of it here for obvious reasons, but just go watch it yourself and you'll understand why. You may need some of these though, because you know, you'll cry at the masterful display of artistic prowess. Number 5 is probably the most recent anime opening on this list, I think so. It's called Easy Breezy by Chel Miko from the show Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. Now, I knew when making this video that I wanted to include at least one super recent one, and it was between this and some other openings you'll see later in the honorable mentions, but the reason I went with this one is because I guess, well, I haven't really talked about this show a lot on the channel. First things first, I like that this is a rap song. You know, the artist who made this, Chel Miko, is a Japanese hip-hop duo composed of two girls who met in a McDonald's. Last time I met someone at a McDonald's, they tried to sell me laced Adderall. I bought it too. Easy Breezy is great because it's not only unique in the realm of anime openings, you know, it's rare you see this style of music used, but it's also just a unique song in general. It's fun, playful, I like the vocal delivery, and it fits just perfectly with the vibe and energy of the show. Then you see the actual character designs, and everyone is just like having a good time, looking like actual teenagers, and it's like, wow. This is a really nice anime opening. It's cool to be different once in a while, isn't it? As much as I like hearing Kanabun do openings or Amir, it's nice to be able to just be creative and pull from a different bag to make your songs, right? But speaking of Amir, number 4 is Brave Shine from Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which you can hear me talk about in depth in this video that I made, even though I spend most of it talking about Prisma Ilia instead, but you know. Watch it anyway. Now, I've talked about this opening many times in many videos, and I'll probably talk about it again in depth when I rank every Amir opening, but oh, by the way, you should watch the video where I ranked every Lisa opening. It's pretty good. But yeah, I've talked about this opening a lot of times. For all the flaws Ufotable's adaptation of Unlimited Blade Works had, this opening was not one of them. It's well mixed and produced, it feels cinematic, and it features a lot of Best Girl, which, speaking of, you know, I've been thinking a lot about that simp system I developed in the Fate video, and I've made some adjustments, see? Okay, so if y'all remember, these are the categories, right? Story, imagery, marriage, and personality, but I realized that people value different things over the other in characters, right? For example, for waifus, I care a lot about their role in the story, right? So here I can make weighted adjustments for each category so that it calculates like a weighted average score. Oh my god, isn't science crazy? Just wait, y'all. I'm gonna keep working on this brilliant formula. This is my Nobel Prize winning thesis right here. The simp system is gonna revolutionize the world of anime, I promise you. But yeah, Brave Shine. It's very good. Number 3 is an opening that real fans of this channel can recognize within the first 2 seconds. That's right, it's Fantastic Dreamer by Machiko from God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, or as it's better known as. This is another one of those openings where it's like, the song is obviously very good and the opening itself is fun, but it's really just a personal pick for me considering how fond I am of Konosuba. The show just has a special place in my heart, you know, because it has the goddess of this channel and my anime self insert Aqua, but it's also just one of my favorite shows in general, and this opening, I mean, whenever I hear it, I just feel comfortable, you know? There's a certain coziness to Konosuba that's exemplified through this opening, and not coziness in the chill sense, but more coziness in the idea that you're about to step back into this fun, goofy world, so just like sit back and relax. I mean, that's why it's called God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, because like for all the shit going on in Konosuba, the world would be fun as fuck to live in, and this opening shows that. I like the intro of the song where combined with the visuals, it gives the sense that you're waking up in this wonderful world, and it's like, damn, let's start the day. Are we fighting frogs or cabbages today? Let's get to it. Then obviously there's this bridge or middle 8 part where there's like a time signature change and we see our Queen Aqua doing her thing, and it's all great. But you know, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people always ask me what I think about the second opening, because you know, I never mention it. I'm always dick riding this first opening. It's still dope, but I don't think it matches the pure, I guess again, coziness of this first opening. I will say the visuals are a bit better in the second OP. There's that famous dance sequence that everybody likes, right? But yeah, OP1 has a special place in my heart, and actually I was just thinking Konosuba was gonna be my recent pick because I was like, damn, Konosuba just came out yesterday, right? Then I realized it came out in 2016, and I was like, oh yeah, that still wasn't too long ago. Then I realized it was 6 years ago. My grandkids weren't even born yet. Number 2 is Kagayake Girls from K-On! It's no secret that I'm a big K-On! Fan, right? I can truly say that it's the peak of seinen anime because it's a show that understands that all adult men want to do is self-insert as high school girls and reminisce about the days of youth that slipped away from them. You see, the older you get, the less interested you are in seeing energy beam clashes or tournament arcs or arguing which muscly teenage boy can beat the other. Instead, you find pleasure in things like this. And that, my friends, is called Maturing. But yeah, this K-On opening is just incredible. One of the best things about the show is how real of a band Hokago Tea Time feels like. Here in Kagayake Girls, Yui's voice actress does lead vocals and everything, and it's like, wow, man, it feels like an actual band, holy shit. You kind of get the same feeling from watching something like Love Live, or even more recently Zombieland Saga with Fran Shushu. Fictional bands have always been fascinating to me. I'm a big Gorillaz fan, so the whole idea of creating fake musicians and putting out music in character as them, but also like crafting lore behind the band seems so fun. And Hokago Tea Time is similar. We have the band, and then we have the lore behind them, which is essentially just the show K-On. But yeah, this opening is a perfect representation of the energy that K-On has, because it has a really frantic melody, but it's also got that all-important kawaii delivery. Actually, I think the best part is the lyrics, because obviously I'm not a native Japanese speaker, but from what I can tell from the English translations, it's all just a bunch of like goofy, mundane school stuff. If you guys watch K-On, Mio is the primary lyricist, so it's just interesting to see her write a bunch of very unassuming teenage shit. Like one of their songs is called My Love is a Stapler, and the lyrics are so down to earth and appropriate for what a naive teenage girl would write. So yeah, this opening has a special place in my heart, as do all these other ones. It also makes for a good karaoke song, by the way. It's relatively easy to sing, but you can also get caught up in that fast hook, so you can flex a little bit of your rhythm skills to your friends if you can really nail it. Okay, before we do number one, here are some honorable mentions. Kimi no Sei by the Peggies from Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Sudachi no Uta by from Wonder Egg Priority, and 99 by Mob Choir from Mob Psycho 100. Okay, and number one is not really a shocking surprise. It's Staple Stable, performed by Senju voice actress Chiwa Saito from the show Bakemonogatari. If we're being real here, this whole top 10 list could have just been songs from Monogatari, but that would be boring, and plus I kind of already did that video here, so check it out. In that video, I also ramble on in length about how good Staple Stable is, and if I remember right, I think the gist of what I said was basically, I said something like I judge art based on how well I think the author accomplished their intention, and Staple Stable accomplishes what it sets out to be perfectly, in my opinion. But as to why it's one of my favorite openings in general, even outside of Monogatari, I guess again I'd say it's that personal impact, right? Who would have thought, yeah? All of these rankings and, ooh, which one is better? It's all based on personal opinion. We can sit here all day and say all this technical jargon, oh, the key signatures, the chord progressions, tonal shifts, but at the end of the day, music isn't a science like that. It's an art form, and art is subjective. So again, the reason why I like any of these openings is because they have deep personal significance to me. And Staple Stable is that opening where every time I hear it, I'm transported back into a period of my life where I was flat broke, I was constantly getting into toxic romantic relationships, and I was drinking liters of alcohol regularly. So not too different from how I am today, but at least back then I had Monogatari to watch for the first time. I guess that's really the beauty of combining music and animation, right? That's what an anime opening is, to create this double whammy of artistic stimulation, like getting your dick sucked and your ass eaten at the same time. And when something resonates strongly like that, it can really stick with you for a long time and even be life-shaping. It's why so many people look back on media they used to like when they were younger, and they say things like, wow, that really made me who I am today. Watching this giant Senjogahara waltzing through the streets of the city made me the man I am today, I guess. Hey, well, those are my favorite anime openings. Like, subscribe, comment on how much you disagree on my choices. I guarantee you I will read none of it. That's the video. Peace.